Now, you guys know that Disney doing its premium $30 Disney Plus access thing has been a source of a lot of controversy. It has not done well for them. That's beyond dispute. All the facts and figures point that it's not done well for them. They have lost out on a lot of money doing it, and a lot of people at Disney don't even like it. There has been some very well known amongst the industry inside fighting going on over at Disney regarding the premium access sort of thing. At least that's what a lot of us have been told. Well, apparently, there was somebody else who did not like the premium day and date release for $30 on Disney Plus either. And that is Scarlett Johansson. Now, this, again, we know very little about what's going on here. This has just dropped. This comes to us from the Wall Street Journal. And what they are writing is they're talking a little bit about the situation with Scarlett Johansson, and they're saying the following. They're saying Miss Johansson, like the headline on it is Scarlett Johansson sues Disney over Black Widow streaming release. Scarlett Johansson, one of the original Avengers, is suing Disney for this move. Now, I'm just going to read this. I am reading this and hearing this along with you guys, okay? So let's get into it here. Miss Johansson said in the suit that her agreement with Disney's Marvel Entertainment guaranteed an exclusive theatrical release, and her salary was based in large part on the box office performance of the film. Now, this isn't unusual that actors will have, particularly big stars, will have the money that they make out of a movie will be tied directly to how much money that movie makes at the box office. This is one of the reasons why a lot of the Warner Brothers filmmakers and actors were so pissed off at Warner Brothers when they said they were going to be releasing things on HBO Max at the same time, because that is obviously affecting the box office, which is obviously affecting their salaries, which when they entered into their agreement, they were given assurances that their movies were going to be full exclusive theatrical releases. And apparently Scarlett Johansson was one of them. Her salary was based in large part on the box office performance of the film. Disney intentionally induced Marvel's breach of the agreement without justification in order to prevent Miss Johansson from realizing the full benefit of her bargain with Marvel, the suit said. Disney could not be reached immediately for comment. The suit could be a bellwether for the entertainment industry. Major media companies are prioritizing their streaming services in pursuit of growth and are increasingly putting their high-value content on those platforms. Those changes have significant financial implications for actors and producers who want to ensure that growth in the streaming does not come at their expense. This will surely not be the last case where Hollywood talent stands up to Disney and makes it clear, whatever the company may pretend, it has a legal obligation to honor its contracts, said John Berlinski, an attorney at, I'm not even going to try to pronounce this, Katzowitz Benson Torres LLP, who represents Miss Johansson. All right. Here's the thing. If you enter into an agreement, a legally binding agreement that says, I will do this for this under these circumstances, and then you suddenly renege on your side of the agreement, well, you're going to get sued. You're going to get sued. And if Scarlett Johansson and her attorneys are saying it was explicit in the contract that I was going to get my salary partially based on what it makes at the box office, with the understanding in the contract that it was going to be an exclusive theatrical release, that meant I could count on X amount of dollars. But you sabotaged it by putting it on Disney Premium Plus, stealing money from us. You violated our contract. Now, one of the things I got to say about this, Kimberly,
yeah,
and again, we're just finding out about this,
man, whoa,
is how professional is Scarlett Johansson that she had this going on behind the scenes,
yep,
and yet was a good soldier, did the promotion for Black Widow,
yep,
she promoted it, she told people to go out and see it, she did the interview circuit.
She didn't bitch and moan. This is the first we're hearing about it.
It wasn't until
that was classy.
Weeks after it's been released that this becomes public knowledge. So the first thing I got to say is, holy shit, is Scarlett Johansson professional?
I think she's a
I'm not
class
going to
act.
lie. If this was me, and you effed me over out of potentially millions or tens of millions of dollars?
You would have seen a lot of this.
Oh, you want me to promote the movie?
A lot of this.
You want me to promote the movie you just screwed me over on? How's that taste? That's what I would have done.
Yeah.
But holy shit, is she professional?
It's a class act.
Look, it doesn't matter what your opinion is on streaming and things like that. We're going to get more into the Black Widow thing with IMAX here in a minute.
Sure, yeah.
It doesn't matter what your opinion on that is. When you negotiate a contract in good faith and you breach that contract, look, Disney could have went to Scarlett Johansson, like what Warner Brothers did do with Gal Gadot and Jenkins.
Sweeten the deal,
and said, listen, we understand this was supposed to be theatrical, and we understand we're screwing you over. So let us make this up to you. Let us cut you another $5 million check.
Absolutely.
Or let us cut you another $10 million. Whatever we think it would have made in the box office, let us compensate you. That's what Warner Brothers did. And, well, at least with one of their movies, they didn't do it for 15 others. But that's what they did with the Wonder Woman situation. Why they did not do this with Scarlett Johansson, what did they think? Now, I am not walking in the halls of Disney, all right? But what were they thinking? Were they thinking, Scarlett Johansson's one person, we're Disney. She's going to take what we feed her and she's going to say, thank you, may I have another. I mean, I'm not saying that was their attitude. I'm just saying, what on earth were
when
they
you're
thinking?
that big, when you're that big, it's possible.
Yeah.
You know, it's anything's possible. Because you have to think, even though streaming is so new, even though these deals are so new, and on top of it, even though the garbage fire of 2020 kind of came out of nowhere and people had to supplement, they had to find inventive ways for people to see their films. There's also the paperwork. There's the back end deals. There's coming to the table and saying, this is what's up. Let's work together like Warner Brothers did. Let's work together. Let's see what we can do. I know you're getting a bit screwed, but let's sweeten the deal. But look, it's not even about her feelings and emotions, because let's face it, she should have had I believe she should have had a Black Widow film way long ago when everyone else was getting their individual films, because her character is just freaking awesome. But this isn't even about feelings and emotions. This is about the contract. This is business. And she's a class act for not screwing them over and going, oh, really? It's coming out in 2 weeks? Guess what, guys? Do you know how screwed over I got on this deal? She could have played a lot of different cards, you know, as a woman. But I think she's coming to the table as a businesswoman, as a classy professional. And you know what? It's her right. So
it is her right. That's the thing that I think a lot of people got to remember. It's like, if this is in the contract, what are they doing? Again, I cannot believe how impressed I am with Scarlett Johansson. I mean, I've always respected her, but this professionalism is crazy. And the fact that she did not allow her very legitimate grievance with Disney to affect the performance of the product, or on Disney.
She could have just leaked her disappointment. She could
totally
have totally skipped a public statement and just told her people, you know, I'm so displeased with the situation, and just kind of leaked it. And so it was out in the water. Hey, did you know she got screwed? Like, this is the first we're hearing about it. She gave what they gave her, which was at home, let's pay $30 and let's be in the theater, this raw deal. And she was professional about it.
Yeah.
And I think that's great, because, as you know, when we think of Marvel and we think of Disney and we think of all the Avengers, even when we think of not only their characters, but them as actors, there's no bad blood. This isn't like Fast and the Furious world. They were bickering and so, you know, brought an attitude. We think about Avengers, Marvel, everything's good.
Yeah, like remember a while ago, like all the original Avengers actors, remember those photos that came out? They all went and got tattoos together. They all got I mean, there's this thing. Now look, I'm seeing a lot of people in the live chat, understandably, saying things like, well, I guess she's never playing Black Widow again. This is business. I mean, look, we've seen all the drama that's gone on for years with Mad Max and the director.
Oh,
and then,
yeah.
Hey, guess what? They did business. Business is business. And they worked it out. And now he says he's going to be making more films. So there's that. This could be worked out, but this does hurt. Like I've always said, Scarlett Johansson will be back as Black Widow. Just like Robert Downey Jr. will be back as Tony Stark. Chris Evans will be back as Steve Rogers. But I mean, this does hurt those chances a little bit. But listen, this is an ongoing, developing situation here, guys. And, you know, somebody's asking me, who was asking me this in the live chat? I think it was Carmelo was asking, John, do you think Bob Chapek is to blame for this? Yes. Yeah. I totally believe Bob Chapek and his mandate and his agenda. Every CEO needs to have a mandate and agenda. Those aren't bad words, but I believe his mandate and agenda has directly led to this. And it's really interesting to see how we have never seen, like you said, we have never seen cracks in the Marvel armor.
No.
Even Edgar Wright and Kevin Feige, you know, Edgar Wright was famously supposed to direct Ant-Man. He worked on it for years, and then he and Kevin Feige couldn't agree on what to do, and they parted ways. But even recently, like, both of them were online saying, yeah, we've been talking to each other and, you know, tweeting back at each other, and we've had I mean, everything.
And anything that people tried to brew, you know, they were trying to say that Captain Marvel, that there was nobody liked her, you know, everyone in the crew's kind of shunning her. And you know what? Their genuine camaraderie and their genuine respect for not only the characters, but their coworkers shot that down, because the bloggers and people, they tried to be like, oh, is there drama? Do you guys not like her? And they were like, honestly, I really felt the realness of their camaraderie. Yeah. And so but every family has their drama, but it makes me wonder, is Kate Shortland going to be the next person to sue?
Maybe,
Is this going to be a fallout? Is someone else going to sue? Is David Harbour going to sue? You know, because you had deals. It's not like they said, play this character, we're going to release it. However, you know, we're going to put it on an app or something. No, there was a deal and you breached the deal.
Yeah. And the kicker to all this, and by the way, Alex's Movie Corner sends in a super chat badge in the live chat. Thank you, Alex. Here's the kicker to this. This movie's losing money. This movie has lost out on hundreds of millions of dollars, and we'll talk about that a little bit more as we move forward. But guys, listen, this is a developing story. This just dropped. You guys are hearing about it as we are. For those of you just joining us, the headline right now, Scarlett Johansson is suing Walt Disney over the Black Widow release. The fact that it was supposed to apparently in her contract be a theatrical exclusive release, and instead they put it on Disney Premium Plus, violating her contract, and she is now suing them. And again, I'm sure there's a lot of information here that we don't know about yet. I'm sure we're just seeing the tip of the iceberg on this.
More Let me ask you this before we move on, though. With everything that's happening at HBO, with new people coming to the streaming platform and more money, more problems, you know, new people, new issues. Do you think this is going to be really a landmark move to shift how streaming platforms and studios make their deals? Because now that they're seeing the bite back, what do you anticipate, like, the fallout will be?
It has to. I mean, look, Black Widow was a movie that, remember, this movie was supposed to come out a year ago. It was made like a year before that. So, like, they made this movie never hearing the word COVID. They had never heard that word before.
Yep.
So I think studios knew already for probably the past 6 months to a year that they need to revisit how they look at doing their deals. This, if it wasn't already abundantly clear that they have to reassess this, this is going to drive it home. This will absolutely have to drive that home, that they're going to have to be, and they're going to have to start working with the agencies, the agents, the reps about how do we now format these contracts? What is acceptable? What isn't? What is collectively, because there's some collective bargaining between the unions as well. So now the unions, ACTRA and SAG and everything, they're all going to have to get involved in this now. It's an interesting situation. But again, this is the first time we've seen any cracks in the foundation of the Mouse House.
Absolutely.
When it comes to something like this, particularly when it comes to the MCU. So again, guys, I'm sure we're going to be talking about this more over the coming days. There is a lot more information to come. We're all just reacting on the first bit of news. We're all just reacting to the first headline. I'm sure we're going to change how we feel and evolve how we feel as we get more information, but this is a really interesting story, and we'll probably have to come back in and revisit it a little bit later. Question is for you guys. What do you think about this? Scarlett Johansson is suing Disney over how they released Black Widow. How are you feeling about it right now? Jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.